Hello and welcome back to On the Break. I know you've seen Mike's face quite a bit. I had to switch it up, okay? We got Joel over here. We're going to do some basketball. It's kind of been our system here. But Joel, first off, how you doing today as always?
Doing very well. I am doing fantastic, actually. We
Wow.
are in the middle of free agency,
Yeah.
and despite what some people may be saying about this free agency class, I actually think it's been quite entertaining.
I've enjoyed it.
I,
It's
I,
been
I, doesn't all right.
yeah, it's been like underwhelming in terms of star talent, but in terms of everything
Yeah,
else, it's been pretty fun.
it's not as glamorous when you compare it to last year with all
Yeah.
those supermax deals that
Yeah,
was
no.
going around like crazy.
This
But
Anthony Davis guy was a thing too.
yeah,
Whatever.
as
You
we're
got to move
recording this
on.
video, he has not been signed yet. But come on, we all know he's going back to
He's
the
gonna
Lakers.
he's
Like,
gonna
come on,
he's gonna be a Los Angeles Laker. He's
come on.
set.
We
I mean, I remember there was a picture of him going to a taco place, and everybody was like, "Oh, he's had those tacos. He's not leaving. He is not going anywhere." Um, Maybe one day we'll see what those tacos are like, and they probably are good enough. But,
Yeah.
Joel, you are a fan of the New York Knicks. I'm sorry for you, but they
Unfortunately.
made some. Yeah, unfortunately, they made some moves though, and I'm just gonna give you the floor because you are the Knicks fan
Yeah.
here. And
Oh,
what do you got?
okay, so starting with the draft. Want to go to the draft here.
Yeah.
The Pistons selected Killian Hayes. I am happy because everybody knows I wanted Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton was still on the board. However, I did not expect Obi Toppin to be here still.
Right.
I thought he was going to the Bulls or Cleveland.
Yeah.
Both pass on him. Bulls make a ridiculous move and draft Patrick Williams. I'm not sure why they did that. Maybe who knows?
Uh,
Maybe he'll be amazing. I don't know, but
we got faith. We got faith. And
we
we
got
also said
sure.
Onyeka Okongwu was a guarantee for Cleveland. That didn't happen. The Hawks
I
got
thought he
him.
was. I
Yeah.
guess Andre Drummond's staying with Cleveland. Then I guess
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
like,
sure.
yeah, whatever. Keep going.
But so the Knicks now they had Denny Advija, who at the time I didn't think was going there, but when I saw Obi Toppin was still left on the board, I thought to myself, now the Knicks are in need of a player that can attract people to the Garden. They need a box office person
When there's fans.
when there's fans. I think Obi Toppin is that person. Now, I understand the Knicks are famous for like what, like the past year and a half. They've been getting ridiculous amount of power forwards. Who did
Yeah.
they added Bobby Portis, Julius Randle,
Taj
um,
Gibson.
Thomas Gibson. They just got
Everybody.
Nerlens
They got everybody.
Noel. They got a bunch of power forwards for like no reason. And yeah, I mean, I guess they're trying to increase on size, but that's besides the point. The only thing that will make me really, really happy with this pick, don't get me wrong, I already love it. I love Obi Toppin. I think it'll be great for them.
Of course.
The only thing that will make it just a little better is if the Knicks listen to their fans and trade Julius Randle. If you can trade Julius Randle, I don't know, get a pick or something, maybe get a shooting guard. I don't care what you
You would trade
get.
it for a bag of chips.
I
Let's
don't
be
care
honest
what you
here.
get. Just get out of it. Just get out of this, man. I want Obi Toppin playing. I want him getting significant minutes. I don't want him to be coming off the bench. Like I don't want that. And yeah, I mean, let's see. The Knicks also, yeah, like I said, they got Nerlens Noel. They just signed him today. They signed Austin Rivers. Well, I like that. I thought it was okay. They got rid of Damian Dotson. I'm not a huge fan of it, but he is kind of getting to the age where it's like we gotta kind of hold off on development here. Say like,
Yeah.
all right, this guy's not gonna be working for us. Let's just get rid of him. They got rid of him. They brought back Alfred Payton. That was fine. So the Knicks, they made some moves. They didn't make big moves, but that doesn't necessarily mean they were bad moves. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're
Unlike
getting
last
better.
season.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my
Last
God.
season was they were making moves to compensate for the lack of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and Zion. And they signed Julius Randle and whatnot. So that's where that
Uh,
stands.
so yeah, I mean, I kind of like what I'm predicting the starting lineup will be Alfred Payton, Julius Randle, then Kevin Knox. I assume is going to get more minutes, being that more Julius Randle, because I would like Obi Toppin to play, but I don't think he's going to like starting and then
Yeah.
Mitch, no, the center. know what I mean? So I like what they're doing. It's just all wait and see now.
Yeah, it's really all wait and see. I mean, I've indoctrinated that phrase into all of you on this show, but I mean, maybe Obi Toppin will start at small forward even. I mean, he's pretty big, but the Knicks
Eh,
could play some big ball.
I
They're
thought
not
of
really
that, but
small,
I
but
don't know.
it's probably going to happen at some point, depending on who the matchup is. They'll play, whoever, wherever. If they're that bad. Obi Toppin is the guy that loves to dunk, and the Knicks have not had any excitement in the past half decade after
Ever?
Carmelo Anthony. Yeah, after Carmelo
In the
Anthony,
past.
it's been pretty downhill in terms of
Yeah.
making the Knicks fun to watch. So I do like where they're going, though. They're keeping young, they're staying young, and they're going to keep developing their young talent as much as they possibly can, for sure. I like where this is heading. Obi Toppin, I was a big fan of his. I've said a lot of the time that a lot of people say he's not great. I mean, we've criticized his defense, which is fair. It's all coachable stuff, like we mentioned before, going back
Exactly.
to our mock draft.
Yeah, like we were talking about it. Like people were saying that they were criticizing, Obi Toppin's defense, but now that you really see it on the Knicks, with the head coach being Tom Thibodeau, one of the, and I'm not exaggerating here, one of the
Yeah,
greatest defensive-minded coaches in the NBA.
yeah,
So I think,
ever.
I think it's a good fit for him.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I have to mention it because
Mhm.
locality. Miles Powell, what do you like him or not? Do you like him on the Knicks? Do you think he's a good idea? Do you think he's going to be the boom that everyone says he's going to be around these parts, or is he going to be just a mediocre player? What's going
I
on?
think he'll be good. I think he'll be good. However, being that 'cause I know these Knicks, I know
Yes,
them,
yes, you do.
and I know Miles Powell is probably going to start his career in the G League.
Yeah, 100%.
I think he'll start in the G League. I think he's
As he
going to
should.
be like a Kenny Wooten type of player where everyone's saying they want him to be in the the actual active roster, but he's probably not going to get there. He's probably going to sign a two-way deal or something like that. That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah,
But I like Miles Powell. I thought it was fantastic when we picked him up. I like the pickup. I
worth a
like the
shot.
signing. It's worth a shot. Exactly. It's worth a shot, but do I see him like, playing at all this season? Probably not.
Maybe not. Maybe near the end of the season when the Knicks are 16-52. But
Maybe.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Miles Powell does. We're rooting for you, buddy. Okay. I know you're not watching this, but you never know. You never know.
You
Anyway,
never know.
moving to the West Coast, the complete opposite side of the country, we had some drama, some exciting signings from the Los Angeles Lakers. You have Montrezl Harrell signing from the Clippers to the Lakers. Patrick Beverley was not happy about this, but I mean, does anybody really want to play with Patrick Beverley at this point? But
Uh,
he's a dog, but his personality gets a little irritating sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. They signed Marc Gasol. I thought he was going to Spain, but I guess he's in Los Angeles now. Cool. We talked about Dennis Schroeder before. I like that signing a lot. You need the point guard after Rondo goes to the Hawks. We'll get into some other teams later, but Los Angeles Lakers, they got everybody that LeBron wanted. The Clippers, not so much. They haven't really done much. They've lost more than they've gained to me. I think that's pretty clear. Losing Harrell. What do
Harold's
you make
what
of
I
these Los
find
Angeles teams?
Harold's what I find very interesting because everyone was saying like, oh, he's going back to the Clippers. He's going back to the Clippers. This is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Then he ends up signing a deal with the Lakers. And first thing everyone's asking is like, I don't get that. Like, why would you sign with the Lakers? That doesn't like I understand you
Yeah.
want to win a ring, but like you had it good in Clippers. What's going on? And Montrezl Harrell basically said that he went to the team that he thought wanted him, that he thought wanted him to be part of that team. So
He
that's
spoke
why
for
I
him.
wonder, did the Clippers not want him? Like, why
I
would he just be saying this if it was all lies? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
The Lakers probably put in quite a great deal of effort to get this guy. I'm sure
Oh,
that
he had
LeBron
to
was in
have.
his ear quite a bit. Whatever. I mean, the Clippers, I think they felt that it was a guarantee. So they didn't really push as hard as they maybe could have. And then the Lakers came in with a huge pitch and said, hey, we have LeBron. We just won a championship. We want you to play for our team. And now he's a Laker.
And
Harrell's Laker loyalty.
you could clearly see that they made room for him by shipping out Dwight Howard. He goes to the Sixers,
Yeah.
and now JaVale McGee's on Cleveland.
Yeah. So you need to
So
replace them. And now you get
yeah,
Harrell,
exactly.
who is
Now you got Harold and
fantastic.
Gasol.
Yeah,
Now you got Harold and
that's a
Gasol.
pretty good upgrade if you ask me. Maybe you lose a bit of physicality and rebounding, but you make up for that in offensive skill. with Marc Gasol. So I mean, Marc Gasol also he can play a little bit of defense now. Come on, don't sleep on Marc Gasol. All right,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
the Lakers are better than they were last year to me, and by
The
a
Lakers
pretty
seem
great
to
margin.
have like every single person that the Lakers lost. I feel like who they got back was like a slight upgrade.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you lose Rajon Rondo, you get Dennis Schroeder. You
Yeah,
lose you lose
JaVale
JaVale
McGee.
McGee, you get Marcus Gasol. You lose Dwight Howard, you get Montrezl Harrell. It's like
Yeah,
I feel like they pretty much nailed free agency,
I
despite
can't see a better way that they could have gone about this.
and they were a championship team, and they actually
Yeah,
looked better than they were last year.
they're the best team in all of basketball, based on the fact they won the championship, and they're better. I can see LeBron getting his three-peat in the next 2 years. I can see it happening, especially
I could,
if the Lakers
yeah,
front office
probably.
keeps doing these things. But we'll see what happens as usual. Maybe the Clippers come up with the upset. Maybe Doc Rivers was the problem, and maybe it wasn't just Paul George choking. But we will find out, of course. Anyway, staying on the West Coast, you have the Golden State Warriors. You have Steph Curry, one of the best point guards ever, will most likely retire as at least the second best point guard of all time. I think he'll retire as the best one. But this team has have their downsides now. You lose Klay Thompson to an Achilles injury. All the best out to him for sure. I think that eventually he will return, and he will be Klay Thompson. Maybe not as great as he was, but he's a shooter, and I think he's gonna probably when he comes back, he's gonna be very spot up. Not as much defense as before, but he's still gonna be that spot up shooter. He'll get back to his game, and he will be Klay Thompson as much as he possibly can. They got a few pieces actually that I like a lot. I think most of us like them a lot. And if these pieces work well, this can be a very great team and a very good playoff team. You have Kelly Oubre right now. A lot of people meme the guy, but he is a very, very great basketball player. And he
Mhm.
was traded not from the Suns, but from the Thunder. The Suns traded him to the Thunder and immediately flipped him to Golden State, I believe, unless I'm wrong, but I think I'm right.
No, you're right. You're right.
All right, okay. And then you sign, or no, sign. You draft James Wiseman, the center out of Memphis, who played a whole 3 games, and then you get Nico Mannion, Nicolo. Okay, he's the redheaded assassin. Okay, whatever you call him. He's a great player. He's great at handling the ball. And he's going to learn under Steph Curry. A lot of people were saying they should get LaMelo Ball so we can learn under Steph Curry. We can get Nico Mannion and have him learn under Steph Curry, and still get James Wiseman. The potential for this team. They're young, and they also have Steph Curry. So it's just a lot of great pieces. And I want you to get into what is this team's potential? Where do they go right? And have they gone wrong at all?
I don't think they really did any wrong here. I just feel like what the Warriors are trying is not overthink free agency.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm wrong, did Klay Thompson get hurt before or after the draft? Believe it was before.
I believe it was before, I'm pretty sure.
It was before?
It
Yeah.
was like the
Yeah,
night
that's what I
of the
figured.
draft that we found out.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, it
right.
was something
Yeah,
like
you're
that.
right.
It was
Like
very close to the draft.
I I
I don't
think
think
they
it had
always
to do any.
wanted
I don't think that had anything to
James.
do with getting Nico, by the way.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think so either. But like, what you tried, I looked at what they tried to do last year by having D'Angelo Russell and seeing just how bad that team turned out to be. I mean, they won what 14 games.
They were not good. They had the number 2 pick. Obviously, they were bad.
Yeah, they were a terrible team. And
This was without Curry
looking
for a
at
long time, without Clay for
yeah,
the season. Yeah, it was
hmm
not good.
you got Stephen Curry coming out of an injury. I think they're gonna give him his full minutes. But if you wanted to restrict those just a little bit, like
Yeah.
instead of maybe getting 30 minutes a game, maybe he's probably gonna get like I don't know, like yeah. Well, I
I mean,
should
he
say
was
like
playing at the end of the season.
he was, but like I feel like Steph Curry is someone you would need to relax on, not put him in all the way.
Yeah, not too
And if
early.
that happens, then I would say put Nico Mannion in there.
Yeah.
Like I don't
You
think it's
got
a
Kai Bowman.
stretch. You got no, they cut
Oh,
him.
he's gone. They cut him. Wow.
I think they let him go.
I
They let
mean, a lot of teams make these roster moves that even Woj doesn't keep up with at this point.
nah
Um,
nah. It happened like yesterday, I think.
oh, okay.
But yeah I like the addition of Kelly Oubre. I think I think he is a much better fit than what D'Angelo Russell
Yes,
was with the Warriors.
I agree.
And I like the fact that they're keeping Andrew Wiggins because when they did have Andrew Wiggins, I feel like they were playing a little bit better. Not quite, but
Yeah,
they were playing a little better. You know what I mean?
they had that
So
extra edge to him.
exactly. And now you got the addition of James Wiseman, something that you were lacking for a while, and someone that can rebound. Draymond Green was their best rebounder. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah,
Like
I mean
I
Draymond
understand.
Green's a great player. He's fallen off a little bit, but I mean, yeah, you need that big man that is James Wiseman.
You need a big man. Like I understand Draymond Green's a good basketball player, but come on, you need someone who actually can do this job.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So yeah, I think the Warriors. To be honest with you, I feel like they got a DeAndre Ayton on their team. That's what
yeah,
I feel like they got.
pretty much.
And yeah, so I like the addition. Just will this team work well together? That is something we have yet to see. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know how Kelly Oubre is gonna be playing with these guys because like a lot of these guys, some of them are just meeting each other for the first time. Some of them don't even really. Some of them may not even like each other.
yeah.
We don't. There's certain aspects of this team that we just don't know. Look at the Houston Rockets last year. You look at that
Yeah,
team
they
on
did
paper.
not.
They should have exactly. They didn't work well together, and now they're blown up. But that's another story.
We're still waiting on
Um,
that news.
yeah, and I don't know. I like what the Warriors were doing despite what everything that's happened with Clay. You didn't have him for 2 years, so wow, he's not gonna be playing for 2 years. That's
Yeah,
crazy,
we're not gonna have watched Klay Thompson play basketball since the NBA Finals against the Toronto Raptors.
man.
I
Listen,
can't wait for him to get back. I mean, yeah,
no, I get it. I get it. But it's just like what this team has gone through. Like I understand when like we boss on the Warriors every now and then, like because we don't like them. They win all the freaking time.
yeah.
But
Not
it
that we're
is
not
sad.
winning.
It's sad to see when a player like that goes down, especially Klay Thompson, a guy who we all respect. I like Klay.
Yeah, we all like Clay. I mean,
Yeah,
he's a funny guy. He's a funny guy, and you don't want a dynasty to be derailed by injury. You want the dynasty to be beaten rightfully.
yeah,
Now that this dynasty was destroyed by Kevin Durant leaving, by Klay Thompson getting injured, Steph Curry getting injured last season, and then you see them with the number 2 pick. I mean, maybe they're remaking this dynasty, but I don't see this being good enough to top the Lakers. I don't see this being good enough to top. Of
no,
course, if they
I
had
don't see
Klay
that.
Thompson, I would be saying that this is a top 5 team in the West. But I can see this Warriors team maybe getting that 5th seed. But I don't see. I mean, I would say the Rockets, but who knows what they're going to look like, next season. I
Yeah,
love the Nuggets. I love the Clippers and Lakers and Jazz as the top 4. But I mean, maybe the Warriors can go back to that old 73-9 team because that team had Steph, Clay, and Draymond for the most part, and I think they have more pieces, for Steph at this point. If they had Clay, I'd be like, this is a great team, and people are going to sleep on them, and I think people will sleep on them this season, and they're going to outshine expectations for sure. But I don't think it's going to be anything near championship level as they would
hmm
be with Clay. What do you think?
yeah.
Anything else to add on that?
No, I mean I totally agree. I can see this team making the playoffs, but when it comes to a matchup where they might have to face the Lakers or even the Clippers,
Yeah,
I don't see them winning.
even
I,
Denver
I just don't.
or Utah or
No, Denver's so slept on. Denver is so
they
slept on.
always have been, always will be.
They made it to the Western Conference Finals, and still people don't take them seriously.
Yeah, they beat even the Mavericks. I like a lot with Luka Doncic. He's only going to get better.
The
Kristaps
West is
Porzingis
just
is only
stacked.
going to get better.
The
Yeah,
West
it's
is just
stacked.
stacked.
If the Warriors were in the East, I might pick them to win it.
Probably.
Top 3
I
team.
can see them.
Top 3. They'd be
I
top
could
3
see them
team in the
beating
East.
the Bucks. I could see them beating the Bucks.
100%. They're a better shooting team. I mean, I think Steph Curry is just a absolutely phenomenal basketball player. Even at this point in time, even with the injuries and whatnot, he's still a guy that can play at an MVP level. So it's kind of hard to stop that. And if he gets back, he's so much fun to watch for sure. This is going to be the first full season with Steph Curry. I can't wait for him to get back at it. I mean, really.
Same.
A lot of people like to compare whatever young point guard, whatever young shooting guard, who can dribble a lot and shoot a lot. They like to compare him to Steph Curry. Most of the time, not fairly. LaMelo Ball has probably gotten a few Steph Curry comparisons, but then you realize that he's about 5 inches taller, and you're like, wait a minute, this is kind of ridiculous. Now, the Hornets have really not done too much. I mean, they made a big move, they made a big draft, right? But I haven't really seen them supplement a lot of this team, right? They got LaMelo Ball. We all expected them to get LaMelo Ball. unless if Anthony Edwards, was not drafted number one somehow, which was very doubtful. A lot of people say, oh, LaMelo Ball could go number one, but it was pretty much set in stone. The top three
Hmm.
was pretty much set, right? And then
Yeah.
we had to switch up with the Bulls drafting Patrick Williams, which I burst out laughing more because of how much I did not expect it, but that's besides the point. Um,
Funny.
Hornets got Gordon Hayward, the ex-Boston Celtic, who was not really fitting with the team in my eyes. I watched quite a few of their games, and it was you seen Gordon Hayward out there. It just didn't seem like it worked with the team. I liked the team a lot better when Gordon Hayward was not on the floor. I thought they played better without him. I thought that he just did not fit. Maybe a sign and trade can happen, but it's pretty much I've seen there's rumblings that it might still happen or whatnot. But Gordon Hayward plans on becoming a Charlotte Hornet, no matter what it is. I will mention the Celtics really quick. I like what they did a lot in the draft for sure. You got Aaron Naismith, a great shooter.
Mm.
You got Peyton Pritchard, a guy that can really handle the ball and do a lot of things, but he's going to mostly be a shooter as well that will develop in the G League maybe, or he's a first-round pick. He'll play a bit, but I think he'll develop in Summer League and all that. He's going to be a fun piece to have, especially for the future, for sure. We'll see what happens with Kemba Walker. 3 years from now, maybe Peyton Pritchard is going to become that guy. He dominated Miles Powell in the Oregon Seton Hall game. Miles Powell did drop quite a few points on his head, but who won the game? Peyton Pritchard. Obviously outplayed him. But anyway, the Hornets signing Gordon Hayward to a 4-year, it was 4 years, I believe. It was like 4 years, $120 million. A lot of people are saying, wow, you overpaid the hell out of Gordon Hayward. And I agree with you.
Oh my.
I do agree that you really overpaid for Gordon Hayward. I don't know. Gordon Hayward has not shown that he's good enough for that much of a contract. I think Gordon Hayward looked at that contract and said, that's mine? That's my contract? That should be LaMelo's contract right now. But nonetheless, Gordon Hayward will sign this massive deal with the Hornets. It's just so weird. The Hornets are not good at free agents. I mean, they're paying Nick Batum like $26 million. I mean, he was good in Portland, but I mean, that was just not a good move. They signed Cody Zeller to a lot of money. I think they cut one of those players, but they're getting rid of Nick Batum. They're doing a lot of moves to try to clear up this space.
Mm.
This is another bad move by the Hornets. I don't like this move. They are constantly slotting themselves in the 9th spot in the Eastern Conference, as many have said. They said that the Hornets will try everything in their power to
Make the
secure a
playoffs.
spot in the 9th seed. Right now, the playoffs is very possible. Okay, I think even with if Gordon Hayward is anything like he was in Utah, and you pair that with LaMelo, yeah, that's a great team, right? But Gordon Hayward, I don't think he's that anymore. I mean, do you think he's that? Do you think they have the potential to make the playoffs with this team? Like, what is your thoughts on what this team's direction is at this point? Michael Jordan has not been the best executive. What do you think?
I feel like the biggest move that the Knicks made in free agency was not signing Gordon Hayward to a $30 million a year contract.
That was the biggest move every team made.
That was the biggest move. I mean, like, okay, so I know you're talking about Nick Batum. Like, what the Hornets are trying to do is find another team so they can get rid of that contract. Right now, as of 11 a.m. this morning, they're saying that the Oklahoma City Thunder actually has a little bit of interest,
Yeah.
but nothing's official yet. They're the only team that has actually reached out to Charlotte and has talked to them about doing some sort of trade. They're not really sure yet, but
they're going to have to give up a first-round pick if they want to get rid of Nick Batum. And the Thunder, any chance they have in a first-round pick, they are jumping on it. We're going to get into that.
They have like 18. They have like 18 first-round pick. So, like, yeah, I mean, listen, Charlotte, I understand when a team believes in themselves and says, we are making a push. When I see this Gordon Hayward signing, I think to myself, okay, they're clearly trying to get, like, they just got LaMelo Ball. They found a gem in Devontae Graham that they could easily move over to shooting guard. Now you got Gordon Hayward. You got P.J. Washington, who I thought has actually played really well. He played very well last year. I thought he was fine.
Yeah.
And center, you probably got to work on that. Like, I mean, I guess Cody Zeller's all right, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of other options that you could have done in free agency to probably improve on center.
Oh, 100%.
But
I mean, you had Marc Gasol out there, maybe. Who knows? I mean, he might play for a contender, but
well, not anymore. I was gonna say Hassan Whiteside is still available, but you just gave $30 million a year to Gordon Hayward, so I don't know if you're gonna have enough money.
Unless if you get a cheap deal for him, but I
guess.
It. Yeah, I don't know.
I
don't know
doubt it.
Again, this is the problem with the Hornets. What is their direction? They're not good
enough.
where you can say, oh, if we get a few more pieces, we're going to be a championship team. You need a lot.
Listen, Michael Jordan is arguably one of the greatest basketball player of all time. He is a horrible owner.
Yeah,
No
has been setting
one
this
likes
team
to talk.
up. Yeah, I mean, people
Nobody likes
like
to talk about it.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to talk about it because it kind of ruins his legacy in a way.
Yeah.
Because he's the greatest of all time. No, he's a GOAT. He's a GOAT. Come on. This man does not know how to run a team. He doesn't. He just throws these guys all into a team together and think, okay, this team has to be good because I have a former All-Star. I got a kid who was supposed to go number one. I got a candidate I had a guy who was supposed to win Most Improved Player of the Year last year. I got a first-round rookie playing power forward. Come on, this is a playoff team, and it's like just a situation with the Warriors. How do you know they work together? How do you know that Gordon Hayward is worth $30 million a year? Clearly, 31 other teams didn't want to do that because of how stupid that is. Gordon Hayward, I'm sorry to say it, this man is made out of glass. I have yet to see this guy stay healthy for a whole year. Like I don't get it with Gordon Hayward. Like, listen, he's a good player. He's a good player. I like him. I think he's okay when he's healthy.
Yeah.
He's good when he's healthy. Now, oh my God! Like,
he was pretty healthy in Utah though. I mean, until that horrific leg injury. I mean,
it's been downhill.
He was a star in Utah. I think Michael Jordan is kind of basing it off the fact that he was a star at one point. Like Terry Rozier was a playoff star, and he signed him to a ridiculous amount of money after trading Kemba Walker. But Michael Jordan runs this team as if they are a championship contender by slotting.
And they're not.
By signing this piece, by signing Terry Rozier, by signing Gordon Hayward. We're going to be better. We're going to be a better team. We're going to be a competing team. But you're not. It's almost as if he's just building this team to be good enough to sell tickets. And for Michael Jordan, a guy who loves money, that's fair. You know, the best move for the Hornets would be to blow everything up. But, blow what up exactly? They don't have a lot of pieces that are very desirable. But it would be to blow everything up. But he haven't drafted well either. So, no.
I will say one thing, though. I feel like this team really started to go downhill. The worst move I think Michael Jordan has ever made was letting Kemba walk.
Yeah.
Walker. I just realized that. I no pun intended.
No pun intended, but it does happen all the time.
But literally, when you let Boston get a hand on Kemba Walker, that right there, I was like, okay, it's over. Yeah. It's over. I can't believe you let this guy go. Literally, all you had to do was have Devontae Graham be your two. You got Devontae Graham and Kemba Walker, and you could have drafted another forward or a star center.
Yeah.
Who knows who you could have gotten, being that you were going to be bad anyway. Probably.
Yeah,
it's not hard.
4-8, and they might have got, based on how the lottery went, they weren't going to make the playoffs, Kemba, but they could have gotten a lot. They could have got a guy like Obi Toppin. They could have signed whoever. They could have. Maybe even if they had this, they could still have LaMelo Ball. Who knows?
And I tell you right now, they would not have signed Gordon Hayward.
No, you would have had forward. You would have been able to draft a young forward, but now you can't.
Exactly.
Because, your draft position, it was, you have to get LaMelo now. It's just a really weird situation, and I never like this team's direction. I don't see them being successful in the next decade, but who knows? Maybe they'll sign more undrafted free agents, and they'll have 10 Devontae Grahams that nobody expects to come up and be great. That's kind of where they succeed, and I don't know if that's going to work out for them. But the Hornets, not a great future. If you're a Hornets fan, might be just a little bit worse than being a Knicks fan. It might just be. I think that's a fair argument you can make, but
I think the Knicks have a brighter future than the Hornets do. Personally,
I think the Knicks
being
are
non-biased,
focused on becoming young. You know what I mean? They're developing young talent.
Yeah.
The Hornets are just signing people. They develop young talent to a point, and then they say, okay, we have Devontae Graham. Let's sign Gordon Hayward. I like the LaMelo Ball pick, but that's pretty obvious. Who knows how good he's going to be, too. We'll see what they do. But, yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Knicks are better for the future than the Hornets, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
But anyway, a team that is, set up for the future. The Oklahoma City Thunder. If we were to do a video on all of their trades that they've made in the past few years, of all their first round picks, if I were to sit here and list all their first round picks, this would be like a 3 hour long video. Okay. The Sam Presti has
Oh my
made
god.
so many moves that it's absolutely ridiculous. They have 3 first round picks in 2021. I mean, I could sit here all day and read how many first round picks these guys have, but in most drafts, it's like at least 3, including their own pick. So this team isn't going to be that good, right?
Mhm.
I don't think they're going to be a playoff team. I don't think they're going to be amazing, right? They've traded a lot of their assets. They've realized, hey, we're mediocre. We're not good enough to win a championship. Let's blow everything up. It's like how I do it on 2K. I've been watching Sam Presti and be like, this is 2K. Trade everything. Flip
He's playing
everything.
2K. He's playing 2K.
He's absolutely playing 2K. Trade everybody. Flip everybody. Get a bunch of first-round picks. Draft whoever you want. And call it a day. And then you sign LeBron James because for some reason he wants to sign with your team. But this team is set up for the future. Now, here's the thing. The Thunder have drafted well in the past, decade or so. Ever since their existence, they've drafted Russell Westbrook. They've drafted James Harden. They've drafted Kevin Durant. Right? They had that triple threat duo that is now split up. They've even drafted Steven Adams. Right? They made that James Harden trade. And, Sam, I mean, this Thunder front office has always been great. Sam Presti's been amazing as well. Okay. My problem is, will this team be able to capitalize? Because a lot of these first-round picks are not from teams that are going to be very bad, right? A lot of these first-round picks are going to be late playoff teams. A lot of Clippers, a lot of Miami, a lot of Clippers. They have basically the entirety of the Clippers. They own the Clippers draft capital, basically. Clippers are going to be a championship team. That's going to be late first-round pick. I saw Miami in there. I saw Denver in there. These are all playoff teams. They don't have a lot of lottery picks. Will they capitalize off these late first round picks? That is yet to be seen. And I think that if you have enough first round picks, you're going to hit eventually, right? You're going to hit eventually. It's like if you play this is terrible advice, but if you play the slot enough, you'll probably get something eventually. Now, how long you have to hit that slot machine is to be determined. Some you may have to hit it 3 times. Some you may have to hit it 25. Right? Hopefully for Sam Presti, it's not the 25 slot machine that's absolutely rigged and, the one in Las Vegas that everyone tells you not to go to, but you go to anyway. Right?
Yeah.
But I do have faith in Sam Presti. He's drafted well. I think he will continue to draft well. And eventually he'll hit the jackpot on one of these players. What do you make of this team?
I don't think they're going to be using all these picks. I think that's kind of understandable, but I feel like they're using these picks as draft leverage. That's what I think they're going to be using. Because I look at these picks, I'm like, okay, trade up or trade for a star.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking they're doing. Turns out that getting rid of Russell Westbrook wasn't the worst thing to do because they made the playoffs with Chris Paul. They get rid of Chris Paul to the Phoenix Suns. Now you got another first round pick.
Another one.
Now you got another first round pick. So it's like, listen, I feel like, so what, in the next 3 to 4 years they have 18 picks? I'm not even exaggerating. I think that's true.
Yeah.
It's something crazy like that.
Most drafts they have, I think pretty much all these drafts up to like 2027, they have their own first round pick. Yeah.
Exactly. So
they have 2, and they're probably not even done.
I don't think they're done.
I don't think they're done at all. For a star, but I feel like, I think the best thing that they could do, because what star are you really going to get with first round picks that is really useful, unless if maybe an Anthony Davis becomes available, whatever, a guy like that, not necessarily himself. Well, let's say in a few years that Zion wants to leave New Orleans, right? We're going to talk about New Orleans too as well. They just traded Steven Adams, for a first round pick for New Orleans. Let's say Zion wants to leave New Orleans. You have all the capital to do it, right?
No, of course you do.
You can trade this capital. You can trade this draft capital for future draft capital. Whatever veterans you sign, you can keep flipping and keep flipping. And this is what Sam Presti's imagining he does, right? Imagining to do is until we are an elite championship contending team, I'm going to flip all of you. I'm going to get as many first round picks as I possibly can. And then we're going to build this team from there. I like the direction though.
I like the direction they're going in too. It's just like, I understand wanting to get rid of you get rid of Paul George, get rid of Steven Adams, get rid of Russell Westbrook. Clearly, because what you've been doing so far has not been working.
Right.
Your first round exits. That's literally what you guys are. You make the 5th or 6th seed. People give you a little bit of hype. people say you're not a bad team, but do I expect you to win the championship? Absolutely not.
No.
They're trying to get to that level. Here comes all those first round picks. Here comes all the trades. Like I saw the other day, they traded for TJ Leaf. They traded Frank Jackson signs with them. Like there's a lot of pieces of this team where they're like, okay, let's just start at ground zero. Let's take a bunch of guys who are trying to prove themselves in this league. Keep in mind, they still have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I really, really like.
Oh yeah.
They got they got a few people. They got I don't remember his first name, but I know his last name is Dort.
Lou Jens Dort.
Lou Jens, there you go.
Great defender. Can't shoot for the life.
He proved himself a little bit in the playoffs though last year. I thought he did pretty well.
A lot of teams were just kind of giving him the Ben Simmons treatment of letting him shoot, and he was, Ben Simmons knows he can't shoot, right? But the thing with Dort is that he has off nights and he has on nights.
Exactly.
He's either Ben Simmons or he's Steph Curry. It's so strange, but that's why he keeps shooting. And a lot of teams kind of, go in the beginning of the game. I saw this in the Rockets series quite a bit. Beginning of the game, you would let Dort shoot. If he's on, you guard up. If he's not on, let him shoot whenever he wants. Let him take the open shot. And if Dort helps develop that jump shot more with, the coaching staff in Oklahoma City, if Dort becomes even a decent shooter, right? This team is, if you put some more stars around this team as well, they could be pretty good. This team can be good in the blink of an eye. All they have to do is trade for a star.
Yeah. I feel like they need to trade for a star. I feel like they need to trade up in the draft and get a top 5 pick in the next coming years. And I think only then, including, the free agency that you got in the next few years, because let's face it, you got rid of Chris Paul, you have a lot of cap now.
Oh yeah.
So I do feel like Oklahoma City, they're restarting.
Yeah.
They're restarting. However, this is taking a really long process than other teams had, because when the Nets were doing a rebuild, when the Houston Rockets are currently doing a rebuild, they didn't have the many picks that Oklahoma City does.
The Nets had a lot less. They had no picks, and they still did.
I don't think they have any picks.
They had second-round picks.
That's what I feel like they're trying to do now. They're trying to get picks as leverage. So, like I said before, and if they get like 2 to 3 stars, then this be a team to look out for.
Yeah, I like this team a lot. I do. Now, really quickly, we talked about the Pelicans. They trade Drew Holiday. They get quite a few first-round picks. Now you pair up Steven Adams with Zion with the strongest front court in the NBA when you put Zion at power forward. Where does this team go? Do you think that this team has potential to make noise in the West? I mean, what is this team's direction?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you think so?
Absolutely. I mean, look.
They just signed Brandon Ingram. We're going to get into the max contracts.
Exactly. They got Brandon Ingram now. Well, for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later, like we said. You got Steven Adams, who I think is arguably the best pure offensive rebounder in the game. I know Andre Drummond's the best rebounder overall, but when it comes to offensive rebounds, I think Steven Adams is the best one there is.
He's up there. I mean, he's the strongest player in the league.
He's exactly.
Yeah.
He's one of the strongest players in the league. And, you got him at center. You got Brandon Ingram at the small forward. You got Zion at the power forward. You got rid of Drew Holiday. You got, I believe, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who I thought was very underrated.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I know they drafted someone really good, but I'm blanking on his name right now. But
I will head to the draft. Because I'm blanking on it, too. They got Kira Lewis Jr. at 13. He looked pretty solid.
Kira, there you go.
Yeah. They almost had RJ Hampton.
They almost did, yeah.
Thing. I mean, they didn't trade for it. It was a weird back and forth trade and whatever. But
yeah,
either way, the Pelicans are developing their town. Yeah, I liked him a lot.
I mean, they also got Eric Bledsoe in that Drew Holiday trade, who I think could be, and George Hills, who I think could be solid guards. I feel like the Pelicans are also in a win now kind of thing, and win now mode. And being that you are in the East, it is a whole lot easier winning in the East. So I do feel they're in the West.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm wrong then. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're in the Western Conference. That's why we're asking. They were in the East. Let's let's pretend that you said what if they weren't in the East, like I said with the Warriors, right?
I'm
They
I'm
should be in
blanking
the
here.
East.
I'm
No,
sorry.
based on geography, they should be in the East. I agree with you.
That's what I assumed. That's what I
It's so
assumed. That's why I
weird,
was like, wait.
but that's a weird. They should be in the East. Everybody said, oh, swap like Minnesota and New Orleans or whatever, but whatever. If they had
Oh,
a
I'm
Seattle team in
sorry.
the
I thought I
you're
looked.
okay.
I was like, okay, they're in the
Yeah,
East.
yeah. Thanks NBA. Thanks NBA. Add a Seattle team so we can fix this problem. But whatever. Yeah. So the Western Conference now has the Pelicans in with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a time. It's gonna be a time. Now, the reason that I said that I don't know if they can really compete, same reason the Warriors can't. You have Los Angeles times two. You have Denver. You have Utah. You have the Warriors in this case.
Mm-hmm.
You may have the Rockets. Let's say they don't do anything. They just got DeMarcus Cousins. They got Christian Wood, right? If the Rockets stay together, they're going to be a pretty solid team with Silas. But I think the Pelicans are probably going to slide in that 7, 6, 8 range, probably 6.
They might be around there. Yeah.
That's where I have them. But depending on how good Zion gets in the next 2 to 3, maybe 4 years, and he stays, that team is going to be armed and dangerous, because Zion has all the
Very
potential in
dangerous.
the world to be a top 10 player in the NBA, right? Potential-wise. If he reaches that potential on this team, watch out. That could be a team that could take over the NBA. It's overnight. If Zion gets that good, they could take over the NBA by storm. That would be fun to watch. That would be very fun to watch. Now, before we get into our max contract players, anything else you have to add about any specific team?
No, not particularly. I mean, I guess we could mention a little bit of the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah,
because
the Hawks are a thing.
I did like what they were doing. Yeah, I did like what they were doing in free agency. They got Bogdanovich.
Yeah.
They acquired Danilo Gallinari. They got more shooters. You know what I mean? I feel like they increased in defense, getting Onyeka Okongwu. So I like the future in Atlanta. I think, just a quick mention there. I think I like what they're doing in free agency.
Yeah, I like what the Hawks are doing. I mean, you got Danilo. You still have Trigger Trae Young, like him a lot. But yeah, they've got a lot of potential, and they are in the East this time. Okay, they have potential to maybe fall into that 6, 7, 8, 5, wherever they find themselves. But a lot of potential. They build young. They're continuing to build young. I like it. They just finally got some veterans to supplement it. Anyway, I know you want to talk about your max contract players, right? You have De'Aaron Fox, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Brandon Ingram you mentioned, and Bam Adebayo. All signing max contracts with their respective teams. The Kings, the Jazz that I like, the Celtics, the Pelicans, the Miami Heat. What stood out about these players? I mean, what do you want to get into with these guys? I think that all of these guys deserved it and should have received the max contract. I don't think there was none of these contracts that I was like, they did. Why would they should have traded him? Why did they do that? It was kind of expected. You know what I mean?
It was very expected. Like, I saw this question on Instagram, and I'm gonna ask you this very quickly.
Go for it.
Out of all these 5 guys,
yeah,
who would you want on your team the most?
That's a good question. You know what? I might just rank them 1 to 5 right now.
But like, who would you want the most though on your team?
It's a toss-up between Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum, I'd have to say. I'm going to go with Jason Tatum. He's shown the most potential and growth to me. I think he's improved the most season after season. Donovan Mitchell is really close with me too because I just like the way he plays. But I'm good. I mean, it's tough though.
See, this is what I said because I saw this post on Instagram and I went straight to the comments. I saw millions of comments all saying Tatum, 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 Jason Tatum, 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 Tatum. Everybody's saying Jason Tatum. And I think I was the only one that was saying, I'd rather have Donovan Mitchell.
I mean, I'd rather have the playoffs.
I'd rather have Donovan Mitchell, only because, like, okay, I'm not taking away from what Jason Tatum is. I think he's an all-star. I think he's a great player. He's gonna be amazing for the Celtics for years to come. Donovan Mitchell does not have the help that Jason Tatum does.
No.
Jason Tatum has guys like Jaylen Brown. He had Gordon Hayward. He had Kyrie Irving. He has Kemba Walker. He had, like he
Marcus
has
Smart.
all
We
these
need a dog. I love him.
Marcus Smart. I mean, yeah, he has a lot of help around him. Not to say he's not a bad player. Not he is a
Yeah,
great player.
better
But
system.
looking at Donovan Mitchell, you got Rudy Gobert, and the next best player is probably like Joe Ingles.
Yeah, I mean that team
Like
isn't bad. I like the Jazz as a whole
I
team. Mike Conley, he regressed, but he's better
he
now.
regret.
He regressed quite a bit. You had Jordan Clarkson for a minute. Rudy Gobert is a great player. You had Derek Favors for a while. I mean, this team is pretty solid.
I
But
think
obviously the Celtics are
I
the
think
best
Donovan
team.
Mitchell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
besides
but
maybe the
like
Heat.
when I see Donovan Mitchell, I see that everybody looks at the Utah Jazz and say, okay, they're a playoff team,
Yeah,
clearly. But nobody says it because of the team overall. They say it because they have Donovan Mitchell on that team.
yeah,
Donovan Mitchell makes everybody around him better.
I
I
agree.
can't say that for Jason Tatum because I feel like those guys that are around him are already good.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. No, that's fair.
So I feel like if you were to put Jason Tatum on, let's say, the Knicks,
Yeah.
I still would not. I don't think I would take the Knicks that seriously. If
Okay.
Donovan Mitchell was on the Knicks, I would be saying, "Oh my God, the Knicks could possibly make the playoffs."
Right. You don't think they would make the playoff? You think they would make the playoffs with Donovan Mitchell, but not with Jason Tatum? Is what you're saying?
I think they could, but it's
Okay.
just my initial thought is, "Oh my God, like the Knicks are
Yeah.
for sure making the playoffs."
I think
But
it's
when I'm
also
seeing
better
Jason
that.
Tatum, I'm
Yeah.
like, maybe.
I also like in terms of these players. I like guards kind of carry like shooting guard. Donovan Mitchell more of a shooting guard. I like shooting
Yeah.
guards really carrying the load of a team.
Mhm.
Jason Tatum is not as physical yet. He's getting there. I mean, Celtics fans will tell you that he's only 19. He's not only 19 anymore, guys. Let him grow up. But all these guys are so young.
Mhm.
Jason Tatum's only going to get bigger. He's only going to get stronger. And once he does, I mean, he's going to be absolutely insane and potentially unstoppable. But you can say the same thing about Donovan Mitchell. But he's already there in
Mhm.
terms of, physicality and, dunking the basketball as hard as he can over a bunch of guys. I mean, I love Donovan Mitchell. His jump shot is getting much better. And
Uh-huh.
he's been able to carry the offensive load for teams. Jason Tatum has had those moments, but yes, Donovan Mitchell has had to do it more and in the postseason. So
Exactly.
I do like Donovan Mitchell getting. I think Donovan Mitchell. I think the Celtics could have gone without signing Jason Tatum. I don't think the Jazz could have gone without signing Donovan Mitchell. But I also don't
And
think the
yeah, it's
Kings could have
another
gone
thing.
without Fox. I think the Pelicans could have gone without Ingram. The Heat needed Bam for their big man situation. But yeah,
Like
maybe that's
I
fair.
feel like exactly. Like I feel like if Jason Tatum were to leave the Celtics are still to be taken seriously. They're still a good
They're
team.
still a top
You
five
take
team in the East.
you take Donovan Mitchell off the Utah Jazz, they're a joke.
Yeah, they are
Exactly.
probably 7-8 seed to me.
I don't even think they would make the playoffs. To be honest
Yeah,
with you.
it would be tight. It would be tight with Portland and down with the Kings as we
Yeah.
see it. I do like the Kings direction. I think that they have a great future. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about Brandon Ingram. We like him. We like that fit with New Orleans. They have a lot of potential. Bam Adebayo, we saw that was obvious. We saw Bam Adebayo
Oh,
coming.
that was obvious. I knew he was getting signed. Yeah, that
Yeah,
wasn't a surprise.
I mean he deserved it. So De'Aaron Fox, I feel, is very interesting. They had a lot of trade. People were throwing trade rumors around with De'Aaron Fox, saying, "No, the Kings might trade De'Aaron Fox for few first
Yeah,
round picks to the
because
Thunder."
they drafted Tyrese. Because
Yeah,
they drafted
exactly,
Tyrese Halliburton.
exactly. So people were like, "Wait, what are they gonna do now? What's their plan?" They're just gonna keep developing young talent against around the fastest player in all of basketball, in De'Aaron Fox, and I like their direction. I don't think that they're going to be there this season. I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs, but they are going to be a very, very fun team to watch going forward. I do like the Kings. They're just in an absolutely loaded Western Conference that will hold them back from making the postseason and advancing in the postseason. But I mean, that's kind of my piece on them. I don't know if you have anything else to add on the Kings.
Not really. I mean, I've been liking what the Kings are that team that are like they're good. They
Yeah,
got good pieces, but they just can't win.
right.
I'm not sure what it is. Like
Yeah, I don't know what
I,
it
I
is either.
like Buddy. Like I like Buddy Hield. I like De'Aaron Fox. I like Marvin Bagley. But for
Yeah,
some reason, it's just when you put them on a team together and you put them in a game, they get killed.
yeah,
But De'Aaron Fox had a good game. Like that's all it is. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's all about developing Fox at this point. And I feel like if they can just find pieces in free agency to develop him, not this year,
yeah.
possibly next year, I think the Kings could be a team to be taken seriously in the future. I to be honest with you, I thought Buddy Hield was going to get traded when I
A
saw that
lot of
Tyrese
people
got.
did. Yeah,
I thought he was getting traded, but
he very well still could.
he probably could. You're
Yeah,
right, but
I wouldn't be
hmm.
surprised if I saw that happen. I wouldn't be surprised if you know, Sam Presti ends up offering a few first round picks for the guy.
Oh my god,
You know, I wouldn't be
another
surprised.
first.
Maybe I mean, who knows how? I don't know what their price is on Buddy Hield. I think that's why he hasn't been traded. They probably have quite a bit of a price on the guy, based on how great of a shooter the guy is, and what he did at Oklahoma was phenomenal, and he's translated quite a bit of it to the NBA. No, Buddy Hield carried an Oklahoma team to the Final Four. People forget that. That
Yeah,
was a great year. That was a very fun year to watch. But Buddy Hield's a good player. I like him a lot. I don't think they should trade him. I think they should just keep this core, keep developing the young talent, unless if you get something really good for Buddy Hield. Right? That's why I think the Kings have the similar mindset. Unless if we get an offer we can't refuse, we'll listen to you, but we probably won't accept. That's the Kings. But they just got to keep developing, you know?
mm-hmm.
Anything else to add before we wrap up this show, Joel?
No, I think
Yeah.
we've said everything we wanted to say.
Yeah.
I think we're all good to go.
I think we covered it all, and we're going to continue to cover it going forward because, the NBA, it never ends. There's always more moves to
It never
talk
ends.
about, more things to get into, and we'll be all right here for it. Somebody will. I will. Joel will. And maybe we'll get Mike on here. I don't know. Well, Nico's always here. Shout out to Joe. Shout out to Charles. And whoever else ends up popping on. This is On the Break. I am John, signing off for Joel. As always, thank you all for watching. This was the NBA episode for once of On the Break. We will see you later. Thank you all for watching.